September 11, 2001 was one of the most horrific days in American history. On this day, nearly 3,000 people lost their lives, and America suffered damages of at least $1 trillion. Behind this attack was Osama bin Laden, the son of a billionaire from Saudi Arabia. But why and how did bin Laden carry out one of the deadliest terrorist attacks in history on the world's most powerful nation, the United States? Osama bin Laden was born on March 10, 1957, in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, into a wealthy and influential family. His father, Mohammed bin Laden, had migrated from Yemen and, through hard work and skill, built a massive construction empire. Mohammed bin Laden's company undertook major projects for the Saudi government and royal family, including the construction and renovation of roads, bridges, mosques, and holy sites such as Mecca and Medina. Through these efforts, Mohammed bin Laden became a wealthy and respected figure in Saudi Arabia. However, in 1967, Mohammed bin Laden died in a plane crash when Osama was only 11 years old. Osama inherited approximately $30 million from his father's estate and lived with his mother after his father's death. From a young age, Osama was deeply attracted to Islam and was known for his polite and disciplined nature. His conduct earned him admiration, and he was recognized as a good student. After completing his primary education in 1976, Osama enrolled at King Abdulaziz University in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Although he formally studied business administration and economics, he had a profound interest in Islamic principles and politics. During this time, he met Abdullah Azzam, a teacher at the university who taught about Islam and jihad. Abdullah Azzam was also a mujahideen leader whose primary goal was to unite the Muslim world and protect Muslims wherever they faced oppression. He believed that defending the Ummah against attacks was the moral duty of every Muslim. Abdullah Azzam's teachings and dedication deeply influenced bin Laden. Inspired, Osama decided to devote himself to the protection of Islam. Together, he and Azzam began actively promoting Islamic advocacy and the defense of the Muslim Ummah. In 1979, Afghanistan faced major political and military changes. The Soviet Union was monitoring the political situation there and supported the country's communist government. The government, led by the PDPA, attempted social reforms such as land redistribution, women's rights, and secular education. However, these reforms faced strong opposition from the Muslim population, who viewed them as a threat to their religion and culture. The local population resisted, and the Mujahideen declared jihad against the Soviet-backed government. Meanwhile, the United States wanted to prevent Soviet influence from expanding into Afghanistan, which could eventually threaten oil-rich Middle Eastern countries. Therefore, America began secretly supplying the Mujahideen with funds and weapons. It was at this point that Osama bin Laden entered the conflict. Bin Laden and Abdullah Azzam formed an organization called Maktab al-Khidamat, which recruited Mujahideen from various countries, brought them to Pakistan, trained them, and sent them to fight against the Soviet forces in Afghanistan. The organization also provided financial and logistical support to the fighters. By 1986, bin Laden realized that more needed to be done, so he established his own training camps in Afghanistan. Within just 2 years, he had created 6 camps, where thousands of mujahideen from Arab countries trained. These fighters began conducting major attacks against the Soviets, aided by resources provided through Pakistan, which acted as a channel for American weapons and funds. Bin Laden also personally contributed substantial sums from his business to support the Mujahideen. By the end of 1988, as the Soviet forces began to withdraw from Afghanistan, Bin Laden and his associates realized that the fight must continue against unjust and non-Muslim powers worldwide. Using the strength and experience gained from the Afghan war, they decided to create a local organization called Al-Qaeda. After its establishment, Al-Qaeda began training new fighters, creating secret communication networks, and planning operations. The primary goal of Al-Qaeda was to establish Islamic governance worldwide and oppose Western influence. In 1989, when the Soviets completely withdrew from Afghanistan, the Mujahideen celebrated a major victory. Bin Laden, now respected as a leader of the Islamic Jihad, returned to Saudi Arabia. Soon after, Iraq invaded Kuwait, and its next target seemed to be Saudi Arabia. At that time, the Saudi military was not strong enough to directly confront the Iraqi army. Bin Laden offered his support, stating that Al-Qaeda and the Mujahideen were ready to defend Saudi Arabia. However, Bin Laden soon learned that the Saudi government had requested American military assistance to defend the kingdom. Angered, he viewed this as a violation of Islamic principles, believing that Muslims alone were capable of defending their lands. Bin Laden openly opposed this decision and began protesting against the Saudi government, calling for jihad among Muslims. As a result, the Saudi authorities expelled him from the country. In 1991, Bin Laden relocated to Sudan, where he reorganized Al-Qaeda, set up military camps, and trained followers in combat and terrorist tactics. He also conducted attacks on American targets. For example, in 1993, an attack killed 18 American soldiers and injured over 70 others. Bin Laden remained in Sudan until 1996, when international sanctions and U.S. pressure forced him to return to Afghanistan. There, he issued a fatwa declaring the U.S. responsible for the suffering of Muslims worldwide. He criticized the U.S. for always supporting Israel against Palestine, attacking Muslims in Somalia, and imposing sanctions on Iraq that caused widespread hunger and disease. Believing the United States was responsible for the oppression of Muslims, Bin Laden issued a second fatwa declaring direct war against America. Shortly after, the U.S. embassies in Tanzania and Kenya were bombed, killing about 225 people and injuring more than 5,000. This made Bin Laden the most wanted terrorist internationally. The United States launched a global effort to capture him, offering a $25 million reward in 2001. Despite years of searching, Bin Laden remained elusive. Finally, on May 2, 2011, he was located in Abbottabad, Pakistan, and killed by the U.S. Navy SEALs. His body was subsequently buried at sea within 24 hours.